Chapter 14. The chapter begins by explaining that Maine has a tradition of trapping where people capture animals for the fur, and there's a season for that. And the government of Maine, they began legislating and regulating this practice. And because of this, like an association of trappers was formed. And this association had conventions and outings and events throughout the year. And in one outing, there was a gathering of trappers, and two men, Randy and Jean, they set up camp like in a remote area, and around 2 a.m, Randy was smoking, and he saw a bright light above the pine trees. And he woke up the other man, Jean, to show him the light. And at first, Jean was like, oh, that's probably the headlights of a truck. But then the light began descending, and it got so bright that it just lit up the whole area like it was daylight. And a little ball of light, like a red light, came from the big light, and they described it as a mothership and a beam of fluorescent light that was floating in the air with no engine and no sound. And then the little red light vanished. And then they saw what they described as a chain link of color rings. And this happened right in front of their tents. And the strangest thing that happened next was that, like, this happened at 2 a.m, and the next thing they knew, it was morning. So they describe it as the morning just blinked in. And the two men were like shaken and confused. And they contacted the UFO investigator Raymond Fuller. And he recommended that they visit MUFON. And when they went to MUFON, they tried to do a hypnotherapy to try to see if they could remember what happened. So Randy they tried to put Randy under hypnosis, but he couldn't go under it. Then the other man, Jean, was able to be put in a hypnotic state. And then he became very frightened, and he was visibly shaking. And they had to take him out of the hypnotic state. And Jean said that he couldn't go any longer. And at that time, the two men, they just decided to give up on hypnotherapy and just try to go back to living a normal life. But then Randy was just thinking that maybe he should try to go back to see if he could get under a hypnotic state. and he suspects that they have been abducted. And Gene he became traumatized and he never fully recovered from what happened that night. And they never really learned what happened that night after they experienced missing time. And this was basically a move-on case, and it was closed as an unknown case because they didn't know what happened.